what just happened. It's Texans Postgame, brought to you by Reliant, Coshada Casino Resort, Houston Methodist, and Heineken.
As O'Connell gets up to the line of scrimmage, takes a knee. It's over at Reliant Stadium. A great start for the Houston Texans, building a 17-0 lead and 20-3, but a disappointing finish. In any case, a lot of bright spots tonight, even though the Texans dropped to 0-2 in the preseason, falling to the Raiders 22-20, with the finale next week at Carolina.
All right, good summary, Mark Vandermeer. I would say I agree with all of those things you just said as the Texans fall tonight on the scoreboard 22-20 to the Las Vegas Raiders. A lot to like in the first half of this game. The Texans built up a big lead at halftime. Second half, not so great. For the second straight week, second half, not so great. And the Texans lose in a game that, if this had been a regular season game, the way they lost the game by having a 2nd and 1 under 2 minutes to go in the game and not converting on 2nd and 1 or 3rd and 1, actually losing yardage, having to punt the ball back, and then having the opposition go 96 yards in 8 plays, just slicing and dicing down the field. And then with under 15 seconds to go, Brett Rippon throws an interception to seal the game for the Raiders. We would be flipping out right now in the Hyundai Texans studios here on the Texans postgame presented by Reliant. But we will not flip out, I don't think, tonight. It was a disappointing ending to the game for sure. But the important stuff was the stuff I think that we saw at the beginning of this game with the offense, and we'll dig into that and a whole lot more as we welcome you in here on Texans postgame here on Texans Radio on 95.7 The Fan. I'm Sean Pendergast alongside Clint Stoerner. Clint, let's start there. I think most Texan fans are interested more so in the beginning of this game than the ending of the game, particularly the first drive. It was up in the air, it felt like, at least via the reports that we had seen for the last day or so, as to who we were going to see out on the field. In the end, we saw C.J. Stroud, we saw Woody Marks, we saw what I guess for now is the first-string offensive line, and what we saw was a 10-play, 69-yard drive that looked pretty darn good to start this game off.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think first and foremost, the headliner here, obviously, C.J. Stroud. I mean, you not just tonight, but you look at the joint practice with the Raiders that took place on Tuesday. Immediately following that Tuesday practice, if you'll go back and listen to C.J. Stroud in that press, and when he met with the media that day, it just seems like, again, it's a different C.J. Stroud. We highlighted it on our show today. I felt like it was he gets up there and talks about, hey, man, you make mistakes in football. Sometimes you take a sack. Sometimes you throw an interception, and you got to bounce back. That's the C.J. Stroud that I've been looking for, not a guy that is echoing what the coach is saying or what the GM's saying or what the OC's saying. That's the C.J. Stroud that I think we've all been looking for. I don't think it's coincidental that it came directly after what was I was not there, you were, but everybody that I talked to thought that was the best practice that the Texans as a whole had all training camp.
Talking about the joint practice.
The joint practice,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then you come out here and you take a little day off, catch a breather, prepare for this game, and you come out here and the little bit of action that you get, you throw the ball well, they run the ball well. You go down, you score a touchdown, you don't kick a field goal, and then you put the cap on and you watch the rest of the game. So a great, not just tonight, but a great 2 or 3 day run for C.J. Stroud to get through a joint practice and a preseason game, a little bit of action, and see a ton of success. And I personally think you can hear it in his voice when he's talking right now.
You think he sounds different this year than he's sounded in the past?
Yeah. I challenge you, Sean. Go back and listen to that. We had that. We played the cut a couple of times in our 2-hour show today before you guys took over for the pregame, and it's just it's after what happened in the playoffs last year, and after the narrative around the quarterback all off season, for him to get up there and authentically, this wasn't some kind of facade. It would authentically say, "Hey, man, you make mistakes, man. Let's go, man. Get back in the huddle and let's go run another play." That's what you look for, and that to me, that's indicative of, hey, this guy's he's legitimately put it behind him, and he's all eyes forward. He's not looking in the rearview mirror. All eyes forward, And I personally, I think there's a difference in his voice after that joint practice than what we've heard earlier in this season, and definitely in the offseason.
Yeah, the stats don't jump out at you in that first drive, but the operation looked really smooth. 4 of 6 for 27 yards. They converted a few third downs on that drive. I think they were 3 for 3 on third down on that drive, including a 3rd and 11, where I think he hit Jared Wayne for 12 yards. Yeah. So that was probably the highlight. And also the rollout to the left where it looked like he was, he had an option to run or throw, it was a scramble, and he found Foster Moreau to, I think, move the chains a little bit there.
I think the boot where he threw it at the feet of
Stover.
Cade Stover, that's the ball that he threw for an interception the first practice of spring training that we highlighted. He had about 10 reps and threw that. So, little things like that I think are really, really important. They ran the ball well. I don't know how much of the process tonight CJ was literally getting them out of a bad run into a good run. I don't know how much he was going, left to right or inside to outside. I don't know, but that is part of their operation. And so when they run the football well, you got to believe that there's some level of communication and processing going on there as well. So, look, I just think it always starts with the quarterback. It definitely does here in Houston. I know the defense is the headliner and why you're a Super Bowl caliber team, but ultimately they're only going to go as far as C.J. Stroud takes them. And I think the last 3 days, Sean, were really good days for the quarterback.
I would agree with you. All right, let's do this. Let's take one here because Keelan Rutledge is on his way over to the studio in a few minutes. We're going to sit down with the Texans rookie offensive lineman, get his thoughts on that opening drive, get his thoughts on how camp is going so far. It's our first chance to get to talk to him here on the postgame show. So let's take one here, and when we come back, I would expect Keelan Rutledge will be here in the Hyundai Texans studio with us. So stay there. You're listening to Texans postgame. Texans lose tonight 22-20 to the Las Vegas Raiders. We're here with you for the next few hours till about 1 in the morning. If you want to get in line, 713-572-4610. We'll hear from D'Amico Ryans as well along the way, his press conference. So a lot to get to tonight. We're with you till 1 a.m. Stay there. You're listening to Texans Radio.
More Texans postgame coming up.
Raise your hand if you don't like saving money. Anyone? That's what I thought. It's probably why the Flex Your Credits electricity plan from Reliant is so darn popular. It gives you your 2 highest use days free every week automatically, and $200 in bill credits. Don't savings sound good? Get Flex Your Credits by calling 1-866-RELIANT or visit Reliant.com. Reliant. That's power. Your way.
Terms and conditions apply. Reliant. PUCT number 10007.
It's bigger. It's better. It's Coshada Casino Resort like you've never seen it before. Introducing the all-new Legacy Tower with 204 beautiful rooms, 100 suites, and a stunning new lobby entrance. Just steps from the largest gaming floor in the Lake Charles area with new gaming, better slots, top-rated golf, and the dream pool and lazy river. It's all at Coshada, Louisiana's best bet.
Whether you're playing with your kids or playing for the Houston Texans, a sprain, tear, or nagging ache can set you back. Until your expert orthopedic team at Houston Methodist uses advanced technology to personalize a treatment plan that's minimally invasive, healing your pain, and getting you back to life on your terms. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it for you. Houston Methodist, leading medicine. Official healthcare provider for the Houston Texans.
Most people don't think twice about their bank, but my bank's a different story. Or should I say, my banker. She was there when my business was just an idea on a napkin. Then again, when we hired our first employee, when we finally turned a profit, and when we needed her advice on how to expand. Yeah, most people don't think twice about their bank, but my banker's always thinking about me because she works at Amegy, and she's banking on my success. Amegy Bank. Here, you grow.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal, too. Right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid...
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Plug-in Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid. During the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end September 8th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Yeah, might want to download that Exxon Mobil Rewards Plus app. Yeah.
Are you the Exxon Tiger?
I am. Yeah, new users can earn $10 in points. $5 after your first purchase and $5 after your second. That's a lot. That's a whole lot.
It is.
Well, hey, You get on that download, buddy.
I will.
Loading. Download the Exxon Mobile Rewards Plus app and join today. Exxon. Trust the Tiger.
For details, visit ExxonOffer.com.
It's Texans postgame. Now, back to the show.
1st and 5 Texans. I formation with Stover the fullback. Here's the give to Woody. Finds the whole right side 15. Bounces off a tackler 10. Another broken tackle, and he's in the end zone. Woody Marks. Touchdown.
What a run.
It's probably pretty hot in Atlanta.
No, it is. It's a little hotter here, though, but when you do inside run, pods and all that stuff, you're pretty used to it.
Oh, welcome back. Texans postgame here on Texans Radio. I got Ben in my ear. We're sitting here having a nice conversation with Keelan Rutledge. I guess we should bring that conversation on the air as we welcome you back in here on Texans postgame here on Texans Radio. Final score tonight, Raiders 22, Texans 20 in preseason week 2. One more preseason game to go in Carolina, a joint practice in Carolina next week, and then it's on to the regular season. And as I mentioned, we're joined right now in studio by Texans offensive lineman Keelan Rutledge joining us. Keelan, great to talk to you. This is our first chance to get to talk to you, and our first chance to, even though you've been here a few months, to welcome you to Houston. How are things? How's Houston treating you so far?
Yes, sir. I mean, appreciate y'all having me on. It's been great getting settled in. Got a spot, so it's good.
How's the training camp been for you, man? I mean, obviously, as a rookie coming in the league, I mean, you seem to be probably a little bit more advanced than most rookies coming in. Probably one of the reasons you went in the first round. But just from getting drafted, getting training camp cranked up to now, you've been through 2 preseason games. Just kind of how the comfort level and learning the pro game, and take us through kind of your learning curve to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been huge. Obviously, you get that OTA period, which was great for me. Just obviously getting the playbook down, and that's so much different. Alert plays, this, that. The kind of structures you see in the league. So that was great. And then obviously, getting to training camp has been great because you're out there on the grass, you play really good defense. So sometimes they punch you in the face. So it's good to go out there and play against a really good front. You see it every day. So just keep getting better, keep attacking the grass the same way every day, and just keep building on it.
Keelan Rutledge joining us here on Texans postgame. You've been playing some center and some guard throughout training camp. You played guard tonight. How's that process been going for you, moving back and forth? I mean, you didn't play much center in college, but you did some at the Senior Bowl. Heard you have, in one of the conversations you had with, I think, Mark and John, maybe you were talking about snapping the ball to your wife to get used to that process. But how is that going? And do you have a preference at all as to where they put you out there on the offensive line?
No preference. I mean, I think it's offensive line play. Obviously, your job is to move somebody from point A to point B, so it's all very similar. There's some differences for sure. I mean, having your hand on the ball and kind of setting the table for everybody is a lot different than when you're at guard. You're kind of listening. You're listening to the mic point, and you go off that versus when you're at center, you got to set it for everybody, and you kind of set the table. But it's been great. I mean, anything they need me to do, I can do it. So just bouncing around has been great because obviously playing center, you got to learn so much. You got to, like I said, you got to set the table for everybody, so it slows everything down when you go at guard.
You gotta. I mean, I know it's your job to do. I mean, wherever they put you, you'll play. But with your mentality, you got to slide over to guard and just go. Okay, let's let this thing eat, man. I obviously you got to listen and you got to process it too. But you get over there and there's no worry about snapping the football, and it's just, hey, man, I'm fixing to try to manhandle folks out here.
For sure, there's definitely that 100%. That's what when you're at guard, you're just like, man, I'm gonna go move this man, right? Yeah. You don't really got to think too much. Obviously, there's some thinking to it, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
Keelan Rutledge joining us here on Texans postgame. All right, so we were just talking about that first drive before you got in here. You guys moved the ball nicely down the field. Woody takes it in from 20 yards out. Take us through the key parts of that drive. It looked like you guys were moving some people and moving the ball on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Obviously, get out there and kind of it started with Evan setting the mic point, having everybody on the right page, and then getting into double teams and moving people, and then Woody doing what Woody does. So it was great.
The one thing that's I've been a proponent of since the Montgomery sign here is, Woody's role. I can't get Woody out of Mike Leach's offense back in his Mississippi State days. I don't know how much of that when you were playing in college you got to see, but I can't that back that's catching the ball out of the backfield, a little bit more of a scat back. So I've been harping with these guys like, man, he can do it all, I know, but man, hey, that scat back, change of pace back is where he needs to live. And then he goes out there today and looks like a bell cow. So I mean, what a night what a day, I guess. Briefly, but for Woody Marks to go out there and perform well in one series.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he showed it all camp. he's been great for us. He will be great for us. He can do it all, but he's like that when he gets the ball in his hands.
How's that room been for you so far? You got some good vets in there. What's that been like? Has there been a particular vet who's taken you under their wing, or just kind of take us through the process for you as a young player in a room full of older players?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. We've got a lot of good vets, a lot of people that have, kind of some people that have bounced around, some people that have played long careers and had successful careers. So it's been great to kind of see how everybody attacks their process. Everybody's different, but you got a lot of like-minded guys, and kind of Coach Pop kind of wants certain guys to play a certain way, so it's been great to have all them guys in the same room, and kind of you just build off each other. He goes out there and puts somebody in the dirt. You want to go do it like it's iron sharper iron, like Miko says all the time. That's what it's been. So it's been great.
What about Pop? You mentioned him. I think one thing, obviously watching it practice from our vantage point or from the fans' vantage point, you guys are the hardest ones to really tell. Hey man, did he have a good day or not? Did an interior defensive lineman have a good day in two series in a preseason game? It's hard to get a whole lot of that for all of us. But watching you guys, what I thought was the most impressive for you guys or with Pop is, man, when you guys are on the practice field, some position, not here, but some teams allow position groups to kind of just during breaks, you're sitting over there bull jiving or whatever. I'm watching you guys, and there's not a second on the field with the offensive line that is wasted. You're in some kind of individual fundamental technique work, or you're in 11-on-11. I mean, there's just no time wasted out there. Is that something, you mentioned your college coach a little earlier, is that something that you're used to and aware of? And does he stress that to you guys of like, hey, man, we're going to get out here, we're not wasting any time?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think that's – it's so valuable. Like, obviously, you got the 11-on-11, and it might be a day where you're doing a lot of move the ball, so you're getting a lot of live reps. But offensive line is so, like taking that step just a little here, having your hat placement just a little here, having your hands a little here is what wins blocks. And you can't just always get that and just move the ball in situations, right? Because a lot of times you're just trying to block the guy in front of you, where is your hat placement a little here, a little there. So them 5-minute periods, like if we've got opportunity, Pop's always going to do that. And I mean, that's Coach Key was the same way. Like when you're out there, we're going to work. Yeah. So it's great.
There have been a few times during camp where things got a little chippy out there with you guys and with you and the defense and whatnot. I guess tell us about your mindset. Just you finish everything out there, and sometimes it overflows a little bit after the whistle. What's your mindset like? Talk about that a little bit.
I mean, I just want to dominate. Like I don't. I think that's kind of how I've always played. I don't want to just, I'll fit them up and wall them off. Like, nah, I'm trying to embarrass you. So I think, it's been like that my whole life. I've played football. I mean, some people are like, oh, you're doing too much. It's like, nah, I heard the whistle, so I'm gonna just go a second after it, and like, you can fight me if you want to. I mean, that's just kind of how my mindset is. But that's just how I've always played, and that's how I've got here. So I won't change it for the world.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
I love it, man. I'm gonna tell you, we do a couple of segments before a game or before a joint practice, and I'm a former player as a quarterback, so I greatly appreciate what you do. But my co-host is always like, "Hey man, what do you want to see from these guys?" And what you just laid out is exactly. I said, look, I want them to run it well. I want them to protect the quarterback well. But to be honest with you, we've been covering this team for. We've been doing this for 8 years.
Yeah.
8 year. I said, I just want to see an O-line that just goes not to the whistle. I mean, I want to play a minute beyond the whistle, right? Somebody that may be a little bit nasty, somebody that's got that dog in them. And so you don't know how much I appreciate hearing that, man. And obviously the city of Houston, blue-collar city, this great state loves your mentality as well, man. So we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Before we let you go, I told Clint, like I said, I got to ask Keelan this. Have you had an O-line dinner yet where you've been stuck with the tab?
I haven't.
Okay.
I have not. The vets have been great to me. I've had to buy snacks for the room, but that's about it. So
that's not bad.
I'm sure it'll come.
Oh, yeah. There was an offensive lineman that used to live in the building that I'm in right now who was here a couple of years ago when he was a rookie. And I saw him walking across the street to the steakhouse across the street from our building. I'm like, where are you going? He said, I'm about to get stuck with a huge tab. And that was back when Laramie Tunsil was on the team and guys like that. So, yeah. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to happen to you, but it's the clock. The bell tolls for the rookie, especially the first round pick at some point.
Hey, when it does happen, Keelan, who you worried about? who you worried about sticking you with the biggest tab?
Oh, who am I worried about? I think Wyatt. Wyatt will probably get me with some nice stuff. I mean, all of them. I mean, I want them like if I'm gonna go do it, let's do it. Like let's
do it right.
eat good. Let's eat good.
Eat good.
We
but
don't got to do all the extra stuff that might charge a little extra.
Bottles
Get you
of wine,
the bottle of Louis the 13th.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff.
don't need that. Just
Yeah.
get you some good food and we'll be all right.
Okay, good. Yeah, you got to have that conversation before you go there. You can't have them walking over with bottles
It
and
ain't gonna
clunking
be
them down.
15, 10 grand. It won't be that much.
Okay.
I'll walk out.
Okay. I hope we get you on again later in the season. I want to find out what the total tap was. Keelan Rutledge, it's late, man. We'll let you go. We appreciate it and enjoy. We, as Clint said, we enjoy the hell out of watching you play, man. So best of luck this season. Looking forward to a lot of success for you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
All right, good stuff. Keelan Rutledge, Texans offensive lineman, joining us. When we come back, we'll hear from Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans, his press conference. That's coming up next on Texans Postgame on Texans Radio.
More Texans postgame coming up.
Gearing up for game day? Look no further than King Ranch Ag and Turf, your trusted source for John Deere equipment. From farmers and landscapers to homeowners and contractors, King Ranch Ag and Turf's 13 dealerships are ready to serve you. Huddle up for savings during our exclusive season kickoff sale. Get unbeatable deals on mowers, tractors, construction equipment, and so much more. Get the gear you need with the service you trust. Visit King Ranch Ag and Turf today.
Texans is 95.7 The Fan. Now, more Texans postgame.
3 receivers right, Wayne to the left, 3rd down and 11 from the Houston 47-yard line. Woody in the backfield, CJ shotgun. Here's the snap. Stroud with time. Fires downfield to his left. Caught, first down. Texans have it in Raider territory at the 41. It's Jared Wayne, one of the stars from last week's game, early on with the touchdown catch. A big first down catch this time.
Yeah, Jared Wayne, big first down catch. He had big catch last week, obviously, the only touchdown of the game for the Texans. Jared Wayne, between the camp that Jared Wayne is having, making a couple plays in the games, and the fact that, quite honestly, that wide receiver room now with Tank Dell still a mystery, Jalen Knoll having trouble getting back on the field, and the worst news, Jaden Higgins out for the season with a torn ACL. Jared Wayne's probably going to make this football team now, and Jared Wayne might have a role come week 1 on this team where he's going to get a few targets in the opener against the Bills. He's had a nice camp so far.
Yeah, look, I think all things considered, I think he's made this team, Sean. I really do. I think he had a real shot given the camp he was having, as well as when you look at the build, right? They clearly value the bigger receiver right now. That's. I mean, heck, you even look at Xavier Hutchinson, and he's listed at 6'3". The other guys are listed at 6'4". And so you look at him and the size is there. Obviously, what he's proven, I think, time and time again, which they understand because he's been in regular season games. But what he did tonight, to be able to run that comeback in that situation and C.J. Stroud throw the ball early with anticipation and lay it on the sideline, there's obviously some chemistry there. The ability to run that route and get that DB off of him, create the little bit of space that you need to complete that throw. I think, look, great camp. I mean, the only guy that was having a better camp, I would say, than him, hands down, was Higgins.
Yeah.
And so, I think he's made the team. I think now it comes down to, can Jalen Knoll and or Tank Dell get healthy enough and get enough reps and to where they can convince D'Amico that, hey, man, these guys would be a better play week 1. I don't know how Jarrett Wayne doesn't figure into this thing in terms of playing time, not just making the roster. I'm talking about playing time.
Yeah, the tank is a whole separate topic that we can spend more time on later. I just don't know. Like the clock was ticking already on Tank when he was actually doing things out there. He hadn't done anything the last week. Like he wasn't at the walkthrough the other day. He's been, I don't know if it's a specific injury he's nursing as opposed to just the general slow rehab and comeback from his big injury. But the clock's ticking on Tank. We'll talk more about that in a little bit or between now and the end of the show. Let's give out the phone number here in case any of you want to get in. 713-572-4610 if you want to get in on the program. We'd love to talk to you. Clint and I are here till 1 a.m. tonight, so get in and talk to us. What did you see tonight that you liked? The Jaden Higgins topic is a big, broad topic that Clint and I will dig into at some point here on the show. Where do the Texans go from here in trying to replace those, I don't know, whatever it would have been, 80 to 100 targets Jaden Higgins was probably going to get this year the way he was playing in training camp. So we'd love to hear from you, 713-572-4610. In the meantime, let's hear from Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans. Here's his press conference following tonight's game against the Raiders.
Can you just talk about what you liked tonight and what you stood out in terms of some areas of need?
What I really liked tonight was we improved as a team. Starting off with our offense, the way they came out, opened the game, starting driving the ball down the field like we did. Thought the O-line blocked it really well. Woody, of course, had some nice runs, but credit to CJ, too. He made some really good decisions. Didn't throw it around a ton, but when he did throw, it was good decisions with the football. He moved us up and down the field, so I'm proud of what those guys went out there and did. Defensively, the first group did a really good job as well, going out, getting some stops. Wade came through with the big play, getting the interception for a touchdown. That's our mantra. That's what we were built on, is attacking the football. So when we do that, it puts us in a really good position. So I saw a lot of improvements from our team from week 1 to where we are now. Definitely played our style of football, our brand of football. I felt a more physical team. I felt like guys played fast. Felt like we played with some confidence on offense. So I'm pleased with the outing, right, what our guys did early on in the game. Don't like the outcome of how it ended, most certainly. So our backup guys there got a lot to improve upon. But that first half was a really good half of football for us as a team.
D'Amico, with the first offensive line group that was out there, is that indicative of how those guys have performed all through training camp and preseason?
At the first offensive line group, as you guys know, I talk about it constantly. We move guys around to make sure we got our best 5 guys out there. So to see that, you got to see guys working together, see guys getting those reps. So that's indicative of the group you saw out there today. Those are the 5 we went with today. Those guys have done a really good job. So we'll see how they keep building and moving forward.
When you look back at that interception by Wade, was that something that you noticed on the tape when he was coming out of Clemson and the role that you expected him to play with this defense?
And for Wade, he just has to be disciplined with what we're asking him to do. Like that pick came from him just being where he's supposed to be and finding a way to catch the football and go score. So he just has to continue to improve. Rookie, we're trying to get him a ton of reps, and he's done a good job with what we've given him.
Irrespective of the score, were you pleased with the continuation which y'all saw in practice against them and then moving into the game regardless of the score?
We had really great practice this week. I'm really proud of the practice that we had, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. I thought our guys practiced really well. We had a lot of good reps, a lot of good positive plays that happened for us throughout the practice. And also in the game this week, guys picked up right where they left off in the first half.
You briefly mentioned C.J. Stroud, not throwing the ball as much, but did you get what you wanted to see out of him and the rest of the offense?
By playing C.J., I wanted to see him come out, get some live reps with the first offensive line, just see him get in rhythm, have some efficient plays, and he did exactly what we expected him to do. And that's the reason you just go get those live reps for him. So it's not the first time that they're rolling out versus Buffalo.
Talk about guys like Marlon Klein, who continues to, I guess, show you guys what he can do. Are you pleased with some of the young guys, especially because now you need some more help in the receiving area?
Marlon's done a really fantastic job all camp. I see a guy who's steadily been climbing. Right? We throw a lot at him, and he's handled it really well. He made some plays tonight. He continues to show up and make plays. He makes them in practice. It shows up in the game, and he'll continue to get better. I love his effort. I love his willingness to grow and take coaching. Like, he's a fun guy to coach. He absorbs a lot of information. He goes out there, takes the coaching, puts it to work, and you see the improvement. And that's what I love about coaching, is seeing guys improve, take coaching, and Marlon is one of those guys that gets me excited. Another guy tonight, Caden McDonald, right, to see him take a huge jump from week 1 to week 2 and see him come through with the big sack. I was very proud for Caden. Right? He needed that play. He showed up in practice making plays like that, and to see him get that sack, I was very happy for him tonight.
Coach, we haven't spoken to you since the injury to Jaden. Can you just give more of an update on that, and then what do you think about the wide receiver room moving forward?
Very unfortunate news with Jaden going down with the torn ACL. He'll be out for the year here, and it hurt. Jaden is a guy I've highlighted. I feel like every time I've gotten up and talked, I've highlighted Jaden Higgins because of the work that he's done in OTAs, throughout training camp. Man, he was like one of our best players, right? If not arguably the best player on the field when he's been out there. So it's a significant loss for us. We got a void to fill there, and it won't be easy to fill the void that Jaden is leaving behind.
Well, D'Amico, you're talking about already the early part of the game, the way the offense and defense both worked. Did it fire the defense up more going against Mendoza and knowing what he had done, just winning a national championship last year?
No.
You guys all good? We had talked about earlier this week not being pleased with his first performance against the Chargers. To see him get that pick, what was that like, and what do you think about what he was able to do?
I'll go back and assess the performance when I watch the tape and watch it in detail. I like that way he said that. He's hungry to get better. Last week it wasn't good enough. We showed him what he needs to improve upon, and he did some good things in practice. And getting a pick is one play. It was a big play in the game, but there are more plays you have to watch to see if he's really taking all the improvements that we've asked him to do.
All right, there you go. That was Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans. His press conference each and every week is brought to you by 1800 Tequila. Let me find the right here, the read here. There we go. 1800 Tequila, the official tequila of the Houston Texans. Also, the play that you heard coming in, the Jared Wayne catch for the first down. We had the Woody Marks touchdown earlier.
Yeah.
That was the opening drive of the game, 10 plays, 69 yards. That is your drive of the game, brought to you by Victory Live, connecting the world of live experiences. My favorite question of the press conference was, did Fernando Mendoza winning a national championship give you guys extra inspiration?
Fire the defense up.
Fire the defense up. Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
And it was the shortest answer in the history of the D'Amico Ryans era.
No.
One word, 2 letters.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And D'Amico knew. Old buddy kind of stumbled through the question. D'Amico knew what he was trying to. He was chomping at the bit to get that no out.
Yeah.
No. Look. I mean, that's. There's nobody on that field in a Texans uniform that gave a rip that he won a Heisman or that he played a national championship game or won a national championship. Good for him. No disrespect, but man, you're on a whole different level here, boss.
Yeah, and D'Amico, it was very, very clear in this press conference. D'Amico, he paid a little bit of lip service to the final score, towards the end of his initial answers there at the very beginning. Clearly, D'Amico Ryans much happier with the effort of his team. In particular, I think the guys that are going to be on this team when they break camp in about 10 days or so. Yeah. Much happier with the effort they put forth tonight than the effort that was put forth last week against the Chargers.
Yeah, I think there were 3 things there for me, Sean, is I know they're not settled on their top 5 offensive linemen, their best 5 offensive linemen. What that combination looks like, which does scare me a bit given kind of how they've handled offensive line last year, rotating guards and things like that. So that does scare me a little bit. But there is zero doubt about it that when you look at this offensive line, the depth, the quality depth that is this offensive line, you're 2 deep better than your 1 deep was last year.
Yeah,
and so that there's no doubt about that. And whatever combination they land on is going to be an improvement. I think that's safe to say. I don't think we should minimize, or anybody should minimize, again, the joint practice and tonight, the combination of the 2 for C.J. Stroud. I think these were really good moments for him. D'Amico said as much. Getting the reps, getting in rhythm, not letting Buffalo be the first time that he went out there with these guys and strapped it up and played a little bit of football. The other 2 things outside of the O-line and C.J. to me is he mentions Marlon Klein. There's whether it's Caserio or D'Amico, you can really tell over the years covering these guys, you can really tell when they're comfortable with how professional and mature a player is by how they compliment them. If they're not real sure exactly who is this guy, where's he at a develop, can he handle a compliment?
Yep.
Is he ready for me to put him on a pedestal and say, hey, this guy's really good? You can tell it's kind of just sweeping under the rug. If not, clearly they believe Marlon Klein is ready.
1,000%.
Clearly,
1,000%.
And the other piece is obviously the Higgins deal, man. Just I can't stress, and I said this on our show, Sean. To me, I think this is a big deal nationally, just because Higgins, people liked him. He was a good player last year, and the expectations were high. But this is if you've been here watching training camp and watching this team closely, that was a monster loss. It was much bigger than just a number 2 receiver that you hoped would put up some numbers and produce. He was taking on a huge workload, more of a workload than any other receiver out there. And so D'Amico you could tell he's hurt for the kid, but he also, if you're a Texans fan, he just told you how big of a void it is, and it's going to be tough for this team to fill it.
Well, it really makes you acutely feel the other injuries. Like when Jalen Noel was missing practices, when Tank was slow coming back and still is slow coming back, it was kind of buttressed by the fact that, we got Nico and we got Jaden Higgins, and then you'll fill in the rest of it and figure it out. You lose Jaden Higgins, and now all of a sudden it's like, man, you don't have Jaden Higgins. When's Jalen Noel coming back? Yeah. When's Tank Dell coming back? And always lurking is, and this is just a statistical fact, is that chances are Nico's going to miss a couple games. And that's the other big thing too, Clint, is that Jaden Higgins was the version of Jaden Higgins that was playing in practices throughout training camp this summer and in OTAs, and really the whole offseason, but especially in training camp, because there you're going in pads against Derek Stingley Jr. and Kamari Lassiter every day and holding your own against two of the best corners in football. Higgins was showing out to the extent like, well, if Nico misses a couple games, Higgins can be your number one. He was looking that good in training camp, and so you're 1,000% right. Now, Seth said this in the pregame show, and I tend to agree with him, which is this. It sucks, and we're in the grieving period for it right now, but it's football. You got to turn the page. The Texans, I think, are a Super Bowl contender. They're a team that can, with a straight face, say, we've got a good enough team to win a Super Bowl. If losing your number 2 wide receiver is what torpedoes your season, you were never a Super Bowl contender to begin with.
Absolutely.
You got to be able to overcome this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, 100%. It's why it's hard for me to hear, and I know it was in hindsight, but it's hard for me to hear this offseason about how Cade Stover and Brevin Jordan going down, changed everything you were doing offensively.
Yeah.
I'm like, those are guys that were on the bubble. Right. I mean, so I fast forward to this year. As good as Higgins is, that can't torpedo your system, your season, like you said. Now, the other piece of that is, again, I'm as high after watching this training camp on Jaden Higgins as anybody is. But this is not an offense. This is not an offensive approach. This is not a scheme or an approach by the offensive minds at all that are like, hey, our guys are better than yours. This is an approach offensively, particularly in the pass game that D'Amico's told us multiple times. Hey, whoever's open on any given play is going to get the ball. Right? So removing the 6'4", 215 that can run like the wind, it hurts, absolutely. But this offense wasn't predicated off of that athletic ability.
No.
Right? I mean, so getting somebody else in there, bringing somebody – now, this is the bigger story here to me. It may not be right now because there's not anybody really available that really moves the needle for you. But when these teams cut to 53, there's going to be a handful of really good receivers out there. And getting somebody in here, not even for right now, but for 6 weeks from now, to keep this from happening again. Because Hutchinson goes down and you're in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean that is
you're in a little trouble right now if Noel and Dell don't come
absolutely,
back.
Absolutely, 100%. But you look at Nico, Hut, Mr. Dependable, Hutch, and then you got Jarrett Wayne, and then whatever happens with Noel. You go, okay, we can kind of piece this thing together and make some plays, and we got some red zone threats, and we got our big dog. But boy, you go into game one, that first half of that game one, somebody goes down with a little hamstring or something.
Yeah.
Hey man, you're in a rough spot.
You're thin.
Yeah, you got
Lewis Bond is in the mix all of a sudden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like just to keep that week 6 from being a problem, there's going to be 4 or 5 really good wide receivers that are in their prime that can really help you.
Yeah.
That are going to be available. I do wonder how aggressive D'Amico will be in going and getting one of those guys just as an insurance policy.
Yeah, well, they'll definitely be kicking tires.
Yeah.
My guess is Nick Casario's on the phone already, just seeing what's out there.
Sure.
Nick never stops working the phone.
That's right.
So look, get in with us if you want to. Let's talk about it. 713-572-4610. It's us and you the rest of the way. We'll hear from C.J. Stroud along the way as well. We've got his press conference that we'll get to a little later on in the show. We're with you about 1 in the morning tonight. This is Texans Postgame on Texans Radio.
This is Texans Radio on 95.7 The Fan.
Raise your hand if you don't like saving money. Anyone? That's what I thought. It's probably why the Flex Your Credits electricity plan from Reliant is so darn popular. It gives you your 2 highest use days free every week automatically. And $200 in bill credits. Don't savings sound good? Get Flex Your Credits by calling 1-866-RELIANT or visit Reliant.com. Reliant. That's power. Your way.
Terms and conditions apply. Reliant. PUCT number 10007.
At H-E-B, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of H-E-B jalapeno poppers hot off the grill. Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an H-E-B Prime 1 burger that you grilled to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit H-E-B, your official game day headquarters, or use the My H-E-B app to start prepping for game day right away.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now, save up to $1,400 on Tempur-Pedic Split King sleep systems For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Chevron and the Houston Texans are proud to call Houston home. That's why we've partnered together since 2017, working together to support the community in our hometown. Join us on Sunday, November 29th at the Salute to Service game, presented by Chevron, honoring the United States Armed Forces and their families. Show your support for military members, veterans, and the hometown team as the Houston Texans take on the Baltimore Ravens.
Balancing your work, family, and health is a lot to manage. Houston Methodist has a lot to offer. Convenient primary care checkups, personalized orthopedics to keep you moving, and experts in specialties like cardiology, neurology, and GI, all in one manageable system, so you can stay healthy and strong. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it for you. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Hey, H-Town! Combine tasty Little Caesars pizza with NFL football, and what do you get? Game day! Little Caesars, the preferred pizza of the Houston Texans. Invite you to order your favorite Little Caesars pizza or try something new. On game day, Little Caesars is always convenient. From carryout to delivery to pizza portal pickup, just call.
Opinions, and inside information all day. Starting with Payne and Pendergast, right here tomorrow at 6 a.m. Insider access, exclusive content, crystal clear FM quality. Your home of the Texans is 95.7 The Fan.
Now, more Texans postgame, brought to you by Reliant Coshada Casino Resort, your Houston Area 4 dealers, Victory Live, and Heineken.
Offset I formation. Hayward the fullback, Washington the tailback, Mendoza play fake, and he throws one over the middle. It's picked off. Here we go. Across the 40, the 50, it's Woodaz. The 40 of the Raiders, the 30. Mendoza trying to chase him down at the 15, 10, 5. Rock and roll. Does he get in? Yes! Touchdown!
That was nice. Wade Woodaz, who in the first preseason game was part of a crew of linebackers who got pushed around quite a bit by the Chargers, if we're being honest. There wasn't a single linebacker in that game that had a good night against the Chargers. Wade Woodaz had a nice one tonight, a pick six, in on a couple tackles as well. He gets into the end zone. That gave the Texans a 14-0 lead. They jumped out to a 7-0 lead after a 20-yard Woody Marks run. And then Fernando Mendoza actually completed a couple of passes to move the ball a little bit, but then that pass right there picked up by Woody Marks at the Texans' 20-yard line. He took it 80 yards to the house, and that was good to see, man. Woody was picking him up and putting him down. That was your that makes Woody Marks your signature player of the game. Signature player of the game is brought to you by Kimo Boardwalk. Kimo Boardwalk, the perfect family getaway. What'd you think of that one?
The interception,
the
or
pick
the touchdown?
six, yeah.
You just gave it to Woody Marks, so you said Woody Marks.
Did I say Woody Marks? Wade Woodaz is what I meant. I gave it to Woody Marks?
You gave it to Woody Marks at the very end, but you explained Woodaz.
I didn't know you know what? They can split it. Yeah.
That's the two guys.
Yeah, Woody Marks scored the one touchdown. Wade Woodaz scored the other touchdown. Those were the two touchdowns the Texans scored.
A lot of W's in there, man.
They're going to split the signature player of the game. They can both go to Kima Boardwalk on me. Kima Boardwalk, perfect. Thanks for catching me on that.
Kima's going to be popping with them two
down there. Oh, you kidding me? Woody Marks and Wade Woodaz down there?
Right. No, look, the interception. You got
Woody
to take,
and Woody.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of bad throws ultimately. Yeah. I mean, it's typical Texans defense, if we're being honest, though. That he was Wade Woodaz. It was a recipient of a ton of chaos and a little bit of pressure around the quarterback. He threw the little check down blind. I would argue that my old Razorback, Mike Washington, I believe what he did was he drifted upfield on a check down route, which allowed the linebacker to undercut it. It was a bad throw anyway. So there's a lot of teaching tape right there where two rookies made bad decisions and put the ball in harm's way, and another rookie took it the other direction for the Texans. But that's D'Amico's defense. Create chaos and take advantage of the opportunity that's laid in your lap. And Wade Woodaz did it. D'Amico said as much in his press release. That's what we're about. Mm-hmm. That was just one of those plays where their ability, even in a race, why this defense is so good, their ability to create that chaos around a quarterback forces ill-advised throws, forces inaccurate throws, and boy, these guys are really good at taking advantage of it. Then you start talking about the Stingleys and the Kalen Bullock in the backfield. I mean, those guys take advantage. I mean, it's not just bad decisions and ill-advised throws. It's turnovers.
Yeah, and Clowney got out there tonight for a little bit. Yeah,
I'm telling you, you tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Boy, it's going to be fun when you get Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and Clowney out there on obvious passing situations."
Yeah,
I'm with you, man. One of the most beautiful things in football. I know it didn't go as maybe Clowney wanted it to, his first go round here, but boy, it's really fun when he is particularly lined up off the ball, and he ends up rushing inside on a center guard in some fashion. Man, that is one of those that's just got to be an absolute nightmare for the opponent, man. And so to think that he's going to be able to do that now with Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson outside,
I would love
it's unfair.
I would love to know what the offers he got were from other teams out there. I think he even said that he had offers for more money than the Texans. I would love to know what the offers were, because between the practices that we've watched and between the handful of plays he was in there tonight, where there's the one pressure he got on Mendoza where he just dips inside on a guard and just beats him to the spot and gets right in Mendoza's face to force an incompletion. And I'm watching this, and his contract with the Texans is a base salary of $5.5 million with a maximum of $8 million.
Yeah,
this guy still looks like he's got the juice that he had when he left here in 2019.
Yeah. 8.5 last year in 13 games.
Yeah, like he was a really good player for the Cowboys last year. And I look at it and I know Clowney kind of marches to the beat of his own drum a little bit. He's a free spirit, but he's a hard worker. I don't think you last this long in the league without being an incredibly hard worker, playing the position that he plays and playing with the juice that he plays with. And so, I don't. That's why I'm curious. Like, were there teams out there? There had to be a team out there willing to pay him north of $10 million.
Yeah.
He is a disruptive force when he's out there still.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
It's a great signing for the Texans.
And it seems like, I mean, the only knock on him ever was, I think, just to paint the picture, was, last guy in, first guy out kind of deal. Wasn't necessarily the most committed, but when when his cleats were in the turf, he's one of the hardest workers and one of the most disruptive players in the game. It seems like if what he said in his initial meeting with the media, it seems like he has figured over 12 years of football, he's figured those things out, and so who knows how long he could play.
Well, I think, I think even right. Who knows? And it's the wildest thing too. I mean, because I was here. My first year covering the Texans for Sports Radio 610 was Clowney's rookie year. That was my first year with the station. And if you had told me in 2014 when he's undergoing microfracture surgery, and in 2015 when he's missing half the season that year, like he missed his first 2 seasons, he missed more games than he played.
Yeah.
If you had told me that he would be the guy in 2026, 13 years in, that he and Khalil Mack would be the last 2 standing in that draft class, at least in the first round of that draft. They're the only 2 guys in the first round still playing in the league of that draft. So I would have said, you're nuts. I would have said, I don't know if he's going to make it through his rookie contract after 2 years. He barely got on the field.
Yeah. The crazy thing, too, I know we talked about it a little bit, but his last 3 seasons in Houston, which would be 3, 4, 5 in his career, his 3rd, 4th, 5th year in his career, I believe he had the exact same number of sacks that he had in year 10, 11, and 12, the previous 3.
That's probably right. He's never had 10 sacks in a season.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning more into he is as productive as he's ever been in his career the previous 3 seasons.
Yep.
I mean that is wild to think that he's able to, and again he did it last year in 13 games.
Well, and what I was going to say too was you were talking about the maturity part of it and the last guy in, first one to leave kind of thing. It sounds to me like he's even figured that part of it out. The mere fact that he wanted to be in training camp, as opposed to waiting till the end of camp like he'd done the last few places, because he talked about, and that's his choice. I'm sure he could have signed any number of places before training camp the last several years. Yeah. If you choose to sign with a team once training camp's over, that's on you if you're Jadeveon Clowney. And I'm not criticizing him for it. I'm merely pointing out something that he himself said, which is, I wanted to be in camp so I can get in a scheme and I hit the ground running with this team. Yeah. And I do wonder too, I would love to have been a fly on the wall for the conversation between him and D'Amico Ryans as to what expectations are here. Expectations are different here than they are in a lot of other places. You got to be a certain kind of guy. The guys who are here and are the torch bearers and the guys that are carrying the mantle for that, the Will Andersons, the Kamari Lassiters, the Azeez Al-Shairs of the world. They say that all the time. Azeez said it on the Pivot podcast this week, which is, it takes a certain kind of guy to play here in Houston. So I would love to know what the vetting process was for the Texans, how convincing Clowney was that he is that type of guy, and just how committed Clowney is to it, because he seems super committed to it, and it's really cool to see if you're someone who was here for the first chapter in Houston, those first 5 seasons where it was very up and down for him. Ultimately, he was a really good player here those 3 years you're talking about. He also made the Pro Bowl all 3 of those seasons, but we know it didn't end well, and then a lot of that has to do with Bill O'Brien. So I'm really happy just for having him here. And he's a big reason, too, I think, why I would really love for this team to win a Super Bowl. I think that would be a fantastic chapter at the end of Jadeveon Clowney's career for him to have been sort of a star-crossed number 1 overall pick who was a good player here, but ultimately fell out of favor with the wrong people, and then able to come back and be a contributor where he's really kind of, he's sort of ceding the star power to other guys on this team. Like he still is a marquee name, but the stars of this team, we know who the stars of this team are. He's not one of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, he could go out there and he's capable of giving you his first double-digit sack season in this system and putting up numbers to where people come on, man. I mean,
can you imagine him doing it though by only playing like 30% of the snaps, and he gets 10.5 sacks?
Yeah, I mean, I think the long play here. This is a team that wants to win a Super Bowl. The long play here is not 18 weeks.
Yeah,
the long play here for the Texans is ultimately 20 or 21 games. And in order to do that, you're gonna need to spell your best players, especially the way they play football on the defensive side. So yeah, man. I think when you look at, I think one of D'Amico Ryans' superpowers, he's got many, but I think one of them is the ability to allow guys to be themselves, but also hold them accountable to, one, not hurting the team. and all that encompasses. And then 2, your play style better be to swarm. Those 2 things. If you take care of your body and you know you're not doing anything outside the building or inside the building that's detrimental to the team, and you're a good teammate and you swarm, right? You can be yourself. Go do you.
Yep.
Right. I mean, and that is something that I would think at this point in his career. Jadeveon Clowney was like, yeah, give me, and there's a chance I can win a Super Bowl at the end of it. Yeah, give me a little more of that.
I just got,
and I can stay at home, my kids.
Yeah, man. I got excited as a Texan fan. I got excited just as a human being, just looking at Clowney. Like after he had that pressure tonight on Mendoza. And you and I are up in the press box, and we've got those TVs up there that are like 15 seconds behind the live action. It's fantastic because you just look up at the TV and it's like you get an instant replay at real time speed, and then you get the actual instant replay on the telecast, and so it's really nice. But looking up at that TV when he was coming back over the sidelines, and there's Will Anderson there to dap him up, and Clowney's laughing and he's enjoying himself. And I would imagine that he probably wasn't as joyous an occasion to play for the Texans the last time he was here playing for Bill O'Brien is my guess.
Well, Sean, you got to think. I mean, hopefully it ends the way that he wants it to end for all of us.
Yeah, right.
But if it's just a good season for him, I mean, just think about that, man. You're in year 13. Or 12, 13.
He's 13, yeah.
And I mean, you get to get in your car today after the game and go home to your house with your kids, with your people, driving your own car and the streets where you've lived for 13 years. I mean, that's just got to be a great feeling for him, man. And he's got to be in a really good place.
And one he probably thought would never happen again.
Absolutely.
You know, like he say, I live in Houston, I love Houston, but I'm come August every year, and that's probably one of the reasons why he waited until after training camp to sign. He wanted to stay with his family for an extra month. You know what I mean? Like it's something as simple as that. But to be able to get to do that is it's a really cool story, and I'm happy for him. All right, I would give out the phone number. However, I've been notified by our producer, Ben Gary, that we're having phone issues tonight. So buckle up. You got Dirty Red and Shawnee P the rest of the way. We're with you till a little before 1 o'clock tonight. So sit back, and I'll open up the text page, actually. The text line is working, 713-572-4610. So if you want to text in and weigh in with some of your thoughts, I'll fire up the text line, and we can communicate that way. All right, coming up next, we'll have C.J. Stroud's press conference for you. C.J. met with the media following a night, one drive, but it was a successful one, and C.J. made a few plays on that drive and got some really nice compliments from D'Amico Ryans. What did C.J. Stroud have to say about this game tonight? We'll hear from the Texans quarterback coming up next. This is Texans Postgame, live from the Hyundai Texans studio, presented by Reliant on Texans Radio.
More Texans Postgame coming up.
Welcome to business banking that meets you where you are and supports where you're going.
show.
Woody up front blocking. Here's the snap to CJ. Here's a little pressure. CJ escapes to the right side. Dumps it off last moment. Morrow has the first down to the 25-yard line, sliding down there. Nice adjustment by Stroud. Looked like he was going to run it. He threw it and got a first down.
Man, does he look special tonight or what?
Yeah, he was in control tonight. I mean, you look at the box score, and it doesn't look like much. 4-6 for 27 yards. But context is everything, man. Getting him in the right calls, reading the defense, the throws, the completions all felt important. That was an important one right there to Foster Moreau. There was the play to Jared Wayne for 12 yards to move the chains on 3rd and 11 and keep the drive alive. Ultimately, it ended into Woody Marks' touchdown. C.J. Stroud looked like just captain of the ship tonight out there.
Yeah, look, I mean, it just seems really confident, which shouldn't surprise anybody. We've seen this CJ before. I think there was a lot more showcase tonight than maybe one thought with the first watch. But throwing the ball on the ground on the bootleg when there wasn't anything there to cage Stover, manipulating the pocket and sliding up in the pocket, drawing the defense to you, dumping it to Foster Moreau, which I believe was a 3rd down throw converted. I think
it was too. Down. Yeah.
And then the just effortlessly throwing the comeback route.
That was a 3rd and 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Effortlessly throwing the comeback route to Jarrett Wayne on the sideline. He makes that look so. It's not an easy throw, man. He makes it look so easy. So there was, and obviously very limited action, 10 plays, I think you said. Very limited action. There was a lot of good to take from it. D'Amico said he wanted to see him in rhythm and command the offense. Well, you saw it tonight. It's probably why he only played 10 plays. I wanted to see 2, 3, 4 drive. I wanted to see closer to the reported 20 to 25 plays from C.J. Stroud just for selfish reasons. But in that drive, we saw some really good things that probably gave D'Amico Ryans a pretty good feel for, hey man, he's seeing it, he's feeling it. Let's go ahead and get him out of here.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown on the drive too. It was a successul drive, so I didn't have a big problem with it. Yeah, selfishly for entertainment purposes, as they say, wouldn't have minded seeing another drive from CJ. I also don't mind him not being out there in harm's way with bullets flying. And the next time we see CJ in something where score is being kept, it'll be week 1 against Buffalo here at Reliant Stadium.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from C.J. Stroud. He met with the media following tonight's loss to the Raiders, 22-20 loss, but a game in which, as you just heard Andre Ware saying right there, he looked like he was in control out there tonight. Here was the Texans quarterback, C.J. Stroud, following tonight's game.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, CJ.
Hello.
Can you just talk about what you liked being out first time and just how smoothly things went in that first drive?
Yeah, I liked our pace, in and out the huddle. I liked the calls Kels made. I liked the guys I was out there with. It was smooth, so I had a good time. It's always fun playing, so it was really fun to play.
You've talked a lot about Woody this preseason. What do you think about his work tonight?
Thought he looked great. He's been, amazing in practice and taking strides, and just proud of him, not even only just in the running game, but in pass protection as well. So thought he did a great job.
You didn't get to work with him tonight, but Marlon Klein, how impressive you've been with not only his attention to learning the offense, but being able to find ways to get open consistently.
Yeah, he's getting better. I think he's learning, how to run NFL routes. I think whenever he knows what he's doing, he's great. So just, trying to teach him on, what I'm looking for, and I think he's getting better.
Well, CJ, the offensive line looked like they did a tremendous job during that first drive while you were in there tonight.
Yep, they did. They did amazing. Yeah, I'm proud of those guys.
CJ, since we last talked to you, we found out the unfortunate news about Jaden. Just wondering your thoughts on that and how you all could potentially make up for what you lose in him.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's he was doing great. It's the best I've seen him. He was making plays. He was, doing things that I haven't seen him do before, playing physical. My thoughts and prayers are always with him, and been talking to him as much as I can. It's you can't just replace a guy like that. He's a heck of a talent. Somebody who is came in this league and has made plays already. Early in his career. So. It sucks. It's nothing good to say, So sadly, we got to try our best, to rise up, other guys around. So, I think the guys that we do have in that room are special. So we're able to do that. But, he's definitely going to be missed.
So far, it's just been a very limited time, but what have you liked about both Evan Brown and Keelan Rutledge playing the interior of the offensive line?
I love how tough they are, how demanding, their ability to communicate, and I think, just of course their blocking ability. I think they're both doing great well. I think Jake is doing amazing too. So, I think we've made strides in the interior part of our O-line.
CJ, do you expect to play a little bit more next week in the final preseason game, or do you have any idea yet how that's going to go?
I'm not sure. I know we have a joint with him, but I'm not sure. It's all up to coach, and regardless of what decision he makes, I'll be ready to go or, ready to practice, whatever the case may be.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, there you go. There was C.J. Stroud. I'm looking at the length of the answers on each of the questions.
Yeah.
And some of the answers are so short, they included the question in there, because I almost feel like that one about the offensive line, like how they did tonight, getting lined up or whatever. I forget what the question was, but the answer was, yep. They did. They were amazing. Like, I guess you better include the question for that one.
Yeah.
know.
I mean, look, that's a guy that's
he's looking to get home.
Look, I mean, we were up there getting real fidgety in them nice chairs we were with food and drinks and friends and fellowship up there. He's been sitting on that bench looking at that damn iPad for 2.5 plus hours and trying to act like he's interested in what's going on.
You give him a pass for the short answers.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's late, man. That's got to be rough. Look, you come into the game and you think you're going to play 20 plus plays. You go out there and you play 10 and you're done. And you try to stay engaged as much as you can, but boy, that's a drag right there.
Yep.
So I don't blame him at that point.
All right, yeah, there you go. So that was C.J. Stroud following tonight's loss to the Raiders. It was looking like a win all night long, and then Texans can't convert a 2nd and 1 nor a 3rd and 1 with under 2 minutes to go in the game, or around 2 minutes to go in the game. They convert that first down. The game is, at the very least, they can make the Raiders use all their timeouts and pin them deep.
Yeah,
so it was all the third stringers in there, but still.
Well, I typically, we've done this long enough. I take preseason games a little bit more serious than most people do. That game right there, that situation worked out perfect for the dysfunctional organization and the rebuilding organization that was in that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you're at the state they are, you need to see some wins, and you need to get on the plane and go back home with that feeling, and you need to see some guys you need reason to get exciting because it's hard where they're at right now. Like I'm glad the Texans aren't there. Had they won this, cool. It would have been great. I'm a win at all costs guy, but this is one of those games where it's 6 one way, half dozen another for the Texans. They're too far advanced. It's too good of a locker room. It's too good of an organization, top to bottom, to even worry about it. The Raiders needed them last couple of plays because they got a long flight back home.
Yeah, did you see the way they were celebrating when that game-clinching interception?
Yeah.
They all ran down to the end zone, and they were doing the group poses and everything.
Yeah, look, there was a lot of celebrating on both sides of the field tonight for a preseason game.
Yeah.
I thought old Nick Caley was going to have a come apart on that. It was
a touchdown drive.
Oh yeah, hey, big fella. It was one touchdown. It's a preseason.
He
game.
was running around slapping guys on the shoulders. Yeah,
he was fired. He bringing that juice they kept talking about last year.
He did, man. Yeah, he did. He brought that juice. All right, heading into the midnight hour, heading into Friday here in about 4 minutes. No phones tonight, but we'll fire open the text page and we'll chat that way with you guys. We got a lot of stuff to get into here. What do we think of that first offensive line that was out there? Do we think that's the group that takes the field in Week 1 against Buffalo? We'll hear what D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud both had to say about that group. We'll do all of that as we head into Friday morning. Stay there. You're listening to Texans Postgame on Texans Radio.
More Texans Postgame coming up.
To all the physicians, researchers, and nurses who've made all the difference, the families you've helped would like to say,
thank you, Texas Children's.
To hear their stories, visit texaschildrens.org/impact. Texas Children's.
Chevron and the Houston Texans are proud to call Houston home. That's why we've partnered together since 2017, working together to support the community in our hometown. Join us on Sunday, November 29th at the Salute to Service game, presented by Chevron, honoring the United States Armed Forces and their families. Show your support for military members, veterans, and the hometown team as the Houston Texans take on the Baltimore Ravens.
Every financial goal needs fuel, but that fuel isn't always money. It's having someone who can help move your goals forward, business or personal. At Amegy Bank, you get a dedicated banker who's there with guidance whenever you need it. Start fueling your goals today with a gold checking account from Amegy Bank, our gold standard in personal banking. Visit AmedyBank.com/gold or stop in a branch to learn more. Amegy Bank, here you grow. Please refer to the deposit account agreement, account disclosure, deposit rate sheet, and personal account schedule of fees, or speak with a banker for more details.
Listen up, Houston. Paramount Plus is once again your streaming home for the NFL on CBS all season long. That's right, stream your live local CBS games every Sunday on Paramount Plus, all the way through the AFC Championship game. Catch C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, and the rest of the Texans from your smart TV, phone, tablet, or any device, all on Paramount Plus. So sign up for Paramount Plus today, and we'll see you Sunday for another thrilling season of Texans football with the NFL on CBS streaming live on Paramount Plus.
Now's your chance to save on summer favorites. Ashley's Labor Day sale is going on now. Save big on better sleep with Hot Buy mattresses starting at just $449, with even more Hot Buys for every other room in your home from $499. Plus, save up to $1,000 store-wide. Or take advantage of 60-month special financing on in-store purchases of $19.99 or more, made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. No money down required. Only at Ashley's Labor Day sale. On now. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
When you partner with CDW, you get more from technology with AI-powered tools that turn complexity into clarity. CDW experts are simplifying workflows with Microsoft Solutions, uniting teams with on-the-go connectivity, speeding workflows with exceptional performance, and protecting assets with chip-to-cloud security. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/modernwork.
RingCentral will completely transform the way you work. It gives you built-in AI across all your business conversations. Your phone system has an AI receptionist that answers calls 24/7. Your video meetings have AI that takes notes instantly. Even your contact center has AI, so you can help customers faster. It all comes together in one reliable platform for effortless AI communications. See for yourself at ringcentral.com. RingCentral, voice of your business.
H-Town, the Houston Texans, ConocoPhillips, and Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages awarded grants of up to $50,000 to local nonprofits through the 2025 Inspire Change Grant. These incredible nonprofits.
sports leader and your home of the Texans is 95.7 The Fan. Now, more Texans postgame.
1st and 5 Texans. I formation with Stover the fullback. Here's the give to Woody. Finds a hole right side 15. Bounces off a tackle 10. Another broken tackle, and he's in the end zone. Woody Marks, touchdown. What a run.
At the first offensive line group, as you guys know, I talk about it constantly. We move guys around to make sure we got our best 5 guys out there. So to see that, you got to see guys working together, see guys getting those reps. So that's indicative of the group you saw out there today. Those are the 5 we went with today. Those guys have done a really good job. So we'll see how they keep building and moving forward.
All right, and we should point out, for those who weren't paying close attention to the permutations of offensive linemen that were out there tonight with the 1s and the 2s, the first string offensive line this evening was from left to right, Ariante Ursery, Keelan Rutledge, who was our guest earlier here on Texans postgame. The center was Evan Brown. The right guard was Ed Ingram, and the right tackle was Trent Brown. That was your first string offensive line. The reason we played that touchdown by Woody Marks coming in is that was the 3rd play of the drive where they caved in the right side, their right side, the left side of the Raiders defensive line. Blocked really well, running 3 times that way. Woody was able to make big pickups, and he finished with 4 carries for 37 yards, including that 20-yard scamper for a touchdown. But that was the combination they went with tonight. We'll see. Right now, the 2 offensive linemen on whom the Texans spent a decent amount of money this offseason in free agency, Wyatt Teller and Braden Smith. If we're to take tonight's combinations on the offensive line as some sort of interpretation of a depth chart, then they're both second string right now.
Yeah.
You know,
look,
which is good depth to have.
Well, I was going to say there's a couple of different ways you can look at that, right? You want to look at it through the positive lens. You got Jake Andrews. You've got obviously Braden Smith, Wyatt Teller. You got all those guys on your Blake Fisher. You know, those guys are on your 2 deep.
It's a lot of starts combined over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yes. I mean, that is really good depth. Now, the other piece, which you mentioned, is, you know, you've got Wyatt Teller and Braden Smith, I believe, under 2-year deals.
Yeah.
With a good chunk of money. I think it's north of $20 million total guaranteed to both of those guys. And so, you know, how does that play out? Obviously, not a great look for the offseason signings, but how does that play out? Are those guys that one or both that you could move and maybe get something in return? Or is it really just solid depth across the board? The good thing about the Texans is the offensive line room is so good that those are real conversations you can have. I mean, if you were to trade one of those guys, you don't feel like you're in a bad spot at either position. You've got tackles, you've got guards, you've got centers, you've got a slew of guys that can play guard, center guard. So, you know, I think there's a real conversation there of kind of, you know, who starts, obviously, and then what does it look like on the flip side of it in terms of depth.
Well, this time a year ago, your offensive line was shaping up to be a rookie at left tackle who actually played 1 game at right tackle to start the season, but then moved back over to left tackle, Ariante Ursery. Mm-hmm. So a rookie at left tackle who never played NFL football before, a left guard situation that was a mess, where by a month into the season, you're rotating within game. You're rotating at left guard. Jake Andrews, who had 1 start to his credit before he even got here. Ed Ingram, who was a refugee pickup for a 6th-round pick 2 years from then to come here. And then Titus Howard at right tackle, who's, you know, an average right tackle. That was your situation this time a year ago. Now your situation is Ariante Ursery is a year in and looks like he can be a good left tackle for you. The left guard looks like he's going to be an all-rookie pick if he plays the entire season. He might be your best offensive lineman. You know, Evan Brown is going to beat out Jake Andrews to be the center if things hold up the way they are right now. He's going to beat out your guy from last year. Ed Ingram is a year, you know, he's a year into the system now and had a great camp or whatever, but I feel like Ed Ingram's going to be okay. And then right tackle is you know, it's either Trent Brown or Braden Smith, both of whom are just fine. You know, you know, you're not the Hogs of the Washington Redskins back in the 80s or anything like that, but I think you can win with that offensive line if guys play to their level, play to their capability levels.
Well, I think you can accomplish what you want to accomplish on offense. I mean, if you don't, I don't think it's going to be. And when I say that is, you know, I think you can run the football. What we saw tonight, the highlight you played tonight with Woody Marks, and it didn't happen once, it happened a couple of times, is they're clearly running behind the two-man surface of Ed Ingram and Trent Brown. And if you add Foster Moreau, hell, or even the young fella, Marlon Klein, you add them and make it a three-man surface right there, you're moving mass. I mean, you've got to – Ed Ingram's not bad in his own right, but Trent Brown is just from a sheer size standpoint – he's able to do things that at least nobody else in this O-line room is able to do. Let me rephrase that. There are some guys that can move mass. There's not many that can stonewall NFL defensive ends the way that Trent Brown can.
Right.
Just simply because he's that big. Right. And so you and I had this conversation last year late in the season. I said it in the offseason when they signed him back. I think it's extremely hard for D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio and Nick Caley, for that matter, to ignore just how powerful Trent Brown really is in the aspect of the game that you just absolutely have to be better, which is running the football.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, he has the ability to create. You know, we used to always say, "Boy, you could drive a Mack truck through that hole." He creates that kind of space. Right? Nobody else is doing that on this team. He creates that kind of space. It is hard to go, oh well, you know, he's not the fleetest of foot, and you know he's not going to be great against an outside speed rusher that's elite in the NFL. Okay, I get it. You know, like you can give him a good offensive coordinator, or give him a tight end, or give him a chip from a running back. Will help with alignment. You'll be fine there. What he does in the run game, Sean, is, and again, it was showcased tonight.
Was it ever? They're running to his side.
No question.
Yeah.
And again, now you saw, you know, 2 yards a push, which means your running back's not getting touched for 2 or 3 yards down the field instead of, on average, a yard deep into your backfield like they were last year. So I just think those two guys in particular, it's crazy because we're not even talking about Keelan Rutledge, who is really the tone setter. We're not even talking about that guy in terms of running behind him. I just think those two guys on that right side, when it comes to running the football, they're going to be all right.
I think so too. Tonight was a really good indicator of that. Here was D'Amico Ryans after the game talking about what he liked about tonight, what stood out in terms of areas of need.
What I really liked tonight was we improved as a team. Starting off with our offense, the way they came out, opened the game, starting driving the ball down the field like we did. Thought the O-line blocked it really well. Woody, of course, had some nice runs, but credit to CJ, too. He made some really good decisions. Didn't throw it around a ton, but when he did throw, it was good decisions with the football. He moved us up and down the field, so I'm proud of what those guys went out there and did. Defensively, the first group did a really good job as well, going out, getting some stops. Wade came through with the big play, getting the interception for a touchdown. That's our mantra. That's what we were built on, is attacking the football. So when we do that, it puts us in a really good position. So I saw a lot of improvements from our team from week one to where we are now. Definitely played our style of football, our brand of football. I felt a more physical team. I felt like guys played fast. Felt like we played with some confidence on offense. So I'm pleased with the outing, right, what our guys did early on in the game. Don't like the outcome of how it ended, most certainly. So our backup guys there got a lot to improve upon, but that first half was a really good half of football for us as a team.
Yep, I would agree. I mean, yeah, they built a 20-3 lead at halftime.
They jumped on them, man. Defensive touchdown. Offense does their part. Defense scores a touchdown. Next thing you know, the entire game is different moving forward because you got a 2-score lead. And with this great defense, you know, it's something like that kind of start. Obviously, in the game of football, at any level, starting fast and finishing are two of the main things, right? But with this team and this defense, boy, if you get an offensive touchdown early and the defense turns around and gets a pick six or any kind of defensive touchdown, good luck to the opponent. I don't care who you are. You're going to have a hell of a time coming back.
Yeah. So, where are you? I know I listened to the drive with Stoerner and Hughley, so I know your feelings on the offense needing to get some run in these preseason games. You know, especially, you know, that's the side of the ball that has held the Texans back last year. They played better offensively. This is my question to you. Are you okay with the defense, the starting defense, getting no snaps in the preseason games at all, even though they're the best defense in football?
Yeah, I don't need to see them. I don't want the best defense in football. They
keep them healthy.
The majority of them are in their third year. This defense.
Yep.
I think defense is such a reaction to whatever the offense is doing. I think when you're practicing, just your alignment and assignment and your timing of blitzes is all done before the ball's ever snapped. And so your practice work to me is different. Like you're getting what you need, what this defense in particular needs. And I thought tonight Reed Blankenship, a starter for this defense, got quite a bit of run. I think he played to halftime. And you look at that and you go, well, yeah, he's a starter unless something crazy happens. But I look at it and go, he's the one guy that's new in this system. He needs to be out there communicating.
Yeah.
He needs to, if he's going to make early mistakes, like rookie mistakes, do it now. Get out there. So I love that he was playing. But when you're talking about Stingley and Lassiter and Bullock and Will and Daniil and Aziz and Henry, I don't need to see that.
No, and that may have been, there may have been two things going on with Reed Blankenship. One, you're right, he's new to the system, so the more reps he gets, the better. The other thing is, too, my guess is he's probably a pretty quick study. They needed somebody out there just to, somebody out there who they trust to get everybody organized out there, too. There's probably that part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. That I love the fact that he played. I love the fact that Clowney got some run.
Yep.
But no, Sean, I don't need to see any of those guys, and mainly it's because that piece of it. I do believe that after the ball snapped, these guys hunt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's no, and what makes them special is beyond just the swarming after the ball snapped. Is the instincts, the timing, the how well coached they are. And again, you and I could go out there and run scout team for them, and they can execute all of that stuff based on us. They don't need a full speed offense, for them to respond to and react to and be on their ones and twos and be up to speed. They don't need that as much as the offense does.
You want to read some text here?
Let's get it,
Okay,
man.
so this is when we were talking about Clowney earlier, kind of talking about, if he shows up and does his work and he's productive, D'Amico lets you be you as long as you're being accountable for the things that matter. Give Clowney the Dennis Rodman rules. As long as you bring it, we can depend on you, then you go ahead and be you. I don't think to that extreme. Yeah. I don't think D'Amico wants you going and wrestling for WCW during the NBA playoffs. He wants you out till 5 a.m.
Deep down, Nick Casario may not mind that, being the wrestling fan that he is. But yeah, I don't think he wants you in Vegas on a guy's trip.
No.
The night of a game, yeah.
No, the defensive scrubs made Aiden O'Connell look like Ken Stabler and made Daria Gumbawale, number 32, look like Marcus Allen. Yeah, that's true. The two jersey numbers, Stabler's jersey number and Marcus Allen's jersey number. Yeah, Daria Gumbawale, 19-yard touchdown.
Good, love him. Good to see him. Good to see him.
Nice little run.
Get a little run. I can't help it. The Texans.
He was getting touches in week 1 last year, man.
In week 1 for the Texans, he was one of 4 running backs, I believe, that got a touch or more. And then fast forward to this year with a dysfunctional team, even though they do have a good running back room, he's getting carries in the fourth quarter of a preseason game too. So, but I wish him the best.
I do too. I love Dare.
Yeah, man, good dude.
Yeah, we had him on the postgame show. Remember after that, after the win over Tampa Bay,
field goal. He kicked the field goal.
He kicked the field goal. That might have been the most fun game of the C.J. Stroud, D'Amico Ryans era. That was the game where Tank scored the touchdown with 6 seconds to go. Mm-hmm. But Dare kicked that field goal. It was a shootout.
I forgot that was the same game, but you're right. That was.
CJ threw for 470 yards in that game and 5 touchdowns. Let's see. Use the tickets I won from 97 or 95.7 The Fan tonight. Awesome seats. Love the experience. Tell Tyler, don't call me Garbear.
Yeah, it was Gary. It's Gary, and he called him
Gare Bear. Gare Bear. Okay.
He called him Gare Bear from Pearland.
I heard that.
I told Tyler, I said, "Hey man, look, you kind of over on my side of town. I'm pretty sure them boys in Pearland don't want to be called Gare Bear."
You'd be right. He's texting right now saying he don't want to be called Care Bear. Okay, I love this text. There were tons of 90 Clowney jerseys today, too. He's well accepted back home. P.S. degree, we were struggling again today. The difference between us and Estan. Okay. Bear from Alvin. I don't understand all the abbreviations in your text, Bear. You got to spell it out for me, all right? Let's see. Can't stand the national broadcast. Aikman and Buck refer to Rutledge as the center the entire game. He played left guard. They don't even pay attention. Horrible. I can't speak to that. We can't hear the broadcast up in the press box, but I'll take your word for it. I did see that Fernando Mendoza had a super dorky Mendoza interview on ABC with the fellas.
It's so...
Where are you on the whole Mendoza vibe as a former quarterback?
It's going to be hard to sell, Sean.
On a losing team.
I mean, it's just... luckily, here's where... Like, I don't think... Like, I just think he's an abnormal dude. I think that's just how he communicates. I don't think he's uncomfortable. I don't think he's trying to be something he's not. I think he's just a weird dude. The one thing that gives it a chance is, he's with Max Crosby on the defensive side of the ball, with Tyler Lindenbaum as the center, and some guys around him. I don't know that he needs to be the alpha quarterback that most dysfunctional organizations that are rebuilding need you to be. They paid the highest paid center in the game kind of deal. And so I think, or you hope, they have, for their sake, they've got a couple of guys that can kind of tote that leadership water, that alpha water, because that he is going to have to be like Peyton Manning level successful for him to sell that.
To get away with the persona?
Oh, man, it's rough. It is.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay, that's what I'm really just wondering what you think of the whole the whole, I don't want to say act, because I don't think it's an act. I think he's being genuine. I think this is who he is.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one thing. I didn't know about Fernando Mendoza until he got to Indiana. In fact, I didn't know about kind of his whole vibe until about midway through the season last year, when like, oh wow, it looks like Indiana's going to be a real factor this year. They were a factor the year before, but he wasn't on the team. And so I remember seeing, the first time I saw him do a press conference or an interview, I'm like, God, is this kid serious? Like, what is up with this kid? And the fact of the matter is, since he's become relevant, we have not seen him lose anything. He hadn't lost the game. He won the Heisman Trophy. Yeah. He was the first pick in the draft. Yeah. It's all been roses for him, save a couple of preseason games. Like he threw a pick six tonight, but that doesn't count. No, he threw a pick six, and a half hour later he's yucking it up with Laura Rutledge on the sideline. Right. So nobody's holding his feet to the fire over what happened. I just want to see how Raider fans react to the whole Mendoza thing when they're 2-12 at some point this year.
Well, it's
and
not,
he's doing the whole TED
if,
Talk,
if
hand chops, and everything
he's playing,
else.
It's not. I worry more about the locker room and the huddle, and I do wonder how much of it is not putting on, but I wonder how much of what comes across as super awkward to us. I wonder if that's like an uncomfortable, or like a nervousness or an anxiousness when the camera pops, when he's getting interviewed. Because that, I just can't. I can't, Sean. I
Is
can't.
It the same off camera? That's what
Yes.
you're wondering. Yeah.
There's no way that Brady and Kubiak sat in a room with this guy, and that what we see is what they got, and they said, "Boom,
we need that.
That's our guy."
Yeah.
That's our franchise right there.
Right.
There's no way. I gotta believe that he's a different guy in the huddle. And I'm not saying he's not awkward and not a nerdy, kind of unorthodox guy, but like the super calculated, awkward stumbles through phrasing. It's just weird. There's no way that Brady sat across the table from that guy and said, yeah, that's going to play in a huddle.
Well, the problem, though, also is, look, you're the team with the first pick in the draft. He's obviously a talented kid. Put the personality aside, however you internalize how his personality is. There were not a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. Yeah. Like if he were coming out in this coming draft where reported, according to the experts, there's like 5 guys that could go in the first 20 picks, depending on what the needs are of the teams that are picking. If he was coming out in a draft where there were more options, then maybe he does slip a little bit or whatever. I do wonder, how to what extent the Raiders, a team that clearly needed a quarterback, they'd had Geno Smith the last couple of years, that they're like, all right, well, this is we got the first pick. He's talented. Because I'm with you. Like it just rubs me the wrong way. Just rubs me the wrong way.
It's super awkward, man. But to your point, like you're talking about a guy that was drafted late in Tom Brady. Like, if anybody thinks that, hey, you can find a quarterback anywhere in the draft, it's him.
Yeah.
Kubiak's a guy that I mean, he just won a Super Bowl with a guy that was seeing ghosts a couple of years ago. That was
a great
bust.
point.
Like, if anybody, I don't know. Like, if anybody's not going to be, like, in a hurry to, quote-unquote, find their quarterback, I would think it would be them. I just, again, when I hear him, I cannot believe that that Kubiak and Brady sat across the table and said, and got that.
Okay.
And say, yeah, man, let's ride with
I got to have me some of that. Yeah, I'm glad I asked you this question. All right, 713-572-4610. That is the text line. No phones tonight. We've had some technical issues with the phones, but it's all good. We'll continue rolling along. A lot of these rookies for the Texans have played pretty well so far. One of them, though, has been kind of up and down. Tonight was an up night. We will hear the highlight. We will hear from D'Amico Ryans about this particular rookie coming up next. This is Texans Postgame on Texans Radio.
This is Texans Radio on 95.7 The Fan.
Throughout time, man has expressed himself through dance. The Charleston, the two-step, and yes, even the Macarena. But few dances have captured the imagination like the victory dance. It says, I'm a winner. In your face, world. With Houston Texans scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery, it's time to start working on your victory dance. You could have lots to celebrate with top prizes of $100,000, plus enter for a chance to win VIP Texans experiences. So, dust off your victory dance and play today. Must be 18 or older. Play responsibly.
Chevron and the Houston Texans are proud to call Houston home. That's why we've partnered together since 2017, working together to support the community in our hometown. Join us on Sunday, November 29th at the Salute to Service game, presented by Chevron, honoring the United States Armed Forces and their families. Show your support for military members, veterans, and the hometown team as the Houston Texans take on the Baltimore Ravens.
At Mustang Cat, we understand that the work never ends. As the Caterpillar dealer for Southeast Texas, we deliver the equipment, service, parts, and rentals you need to keep doing the work. For a limited time, Mustang Cat is offering 0% financing with no money down on all compact equipment. Learn more at MustangCat.com or call us at 888-MyCat20. Mustang Cat, building Texas, powering the world.
Relax and let Kroger Pickup handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only...
822-667-2299 to speak to a representative today.
Now, more Texans postgame, brought to you by Reliant Coshada Casino Resort, your Houston Area 4 dealers, Victory Live, and Heineken.
Second down and 1 at the Houston 28-yard line. Mendoza fakes the give. He's under pressure. He's sacked back outside the 40-yard line. Caden McDonald, the rookie. Welcome to the NFL.
Another guy tonight, Payne McDonald, right? To see him take a huge jump from week 1 to week 2, and see him come through with the big sack. I was very proud for Payne. Right? He needed that play. He showed up in practice making plays like that, and to see him get that sack, I was very happy for him tonight.
All right, there you go. D'Amico Ryans talking about second-round pick Payne McDonald. I would say of the rookies, particularly the highly drafted rookies for the Texans, Payne McDonald's the one who's gotten out of the gate the slowest. Now that he's admittedly, we're talking about just the day 1 and 2 picks, first, second, third round. The Texans didn't have a third-round pick. They drafted 2 guys in the second, 1 in the first. Keelan Rutledge looks like he's on his way to, within a couple of years, being a captain of this football team and maybe the best offensive lineman on the team right now. Marlon Klein is a revelation at tight end. He had another great night tonight with 3 catches for 31 yards. And there's Payne McDonald, the 36 overall pick, who's been, he's done some good things in camp. He's disappeared at times. He's a rookie defensive lineman with a lot of talent. That was good to see tonight, to see Payne McDonald on a play where, albeit a play where he basically just ran past the guy to get to the quarterback, but it was a big play at the time. It was 2nd and 1 in Texans territory, and it made it 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 12, whatever it was. Nice to see Payne McDonald get into the box score tonight.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's hard, man. Interior defensive lineman, young, rotational position, so it's just hard in preseason games when you're not getting a full game of run. It's hard in a joint practice or even a regular practice, especially when everybody's watching Will Anderson and Daniil and all the superstars that are in the defense. It's hard to notice 93, and so. But I mean, I said this a little earlier. For me, man, preseason games, joint practice, quick work. It's hard to tell interior. Like right now, I mean, I know Rutledge was out there at left guard. I have no idea how he played. I mean, we're on the.
You got to go back and watch.
We're in the damn roof of Reliant watching. I mean, he's in a scrum.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell whether, even if a guy breaks free, was it his guy or was he actually trying to make up for somebody else? Or, and same thing with the defensive line. Obviously, we saw him tonight because he popped right through. The center went left, the guard went right, and he shot the A gap. So nobody had him. And you see those kind of plays, but. Yeah, look, I think the young fella's going to be fine. Obviously, taking advantage of opportunities like that's big, but man, he's going to be fine. He's going to be a big piece of that rotation in the middle, no doubt.
Yep, no doubt. That was good to see Payne McDonald. And I would say a good night for the rookies overall. Keelan Rutledge was out there for the opening drive. Like you said, it's a good point. Until we go back and watch the all-22 or even just the TV replay of the game, we don't know how he played. I'm going to assume he played well because the team moved the ball on the ground, and he typically plays pretty well. He's a good football player. Payne McDonald, you just heard right there. Marlon Klein, D'Amico once again proactively effusive in his praise for the second-round rookie tight end. And then the fourth round, you had Febechi Wiwu, who got out there with the second unit. He's looked, for a 4th round pick, he's going to make the team. He looks like he might be able to get on the field for this team at some point down the road. And then Wade Woodaz had a pick 6 tonight. So pretty good night for the rookie. Really pretty good couple games for the rookies when you throw in Kamari Ramsey's pick last week, 5th round pick. So, Lewis Bond is your 6th and Aiden Fisher is your 7th. And, thus far for a rookie class where they didn't have a pick in the top 5 or anything like that. It's not like CJ and Will's class where they got 2 picks in the top 3. And you go, that was a great class. Why? You got CJ Stroud and Will Anderson, the second and third overall picks. This was a draft where Nick Caserio had to get a little creative, and they honestly had some picks that at the time they were made were widely panned by a lot of people because Keelan Rutledge was the consensus, he was in the 40s. And Marlon Klein, the consensus was he was a 3rd or 4th round pick. They both got drafted higher than that. So far, they haven't played in the regular season yet, but so far it looks like they got those 2 picks right.
Yeah, getting production out of those, particularly the 2 on the offensive side of the ball. McDonald, I think he's going to be fine on the defensive side of the ball.
He's a luxury item right now.
Yeah, I mean that's less concern for me. I mean I thought there was a chance at first that both of the early draft picks, the first and the second round on the offensive side of the football, because remember Marlon Klein was injured reportedly early on, and I was like, boy, he's a developmental player. Now he's already injured. This guy's not even going to be on the field. Obviously, that was a knee-jerk reaction that shouldn't have been made by me. And then Keelan Rutledge, I stand by it. I mean, I think it was a long shot that he be a starting center in the NFL week 1, having never played the position. Little did I know, hell, he may be the best offensive lineman, much less the best center. He may be the best overall offensive lineman on this team. So, yeah, man, hitting on those 2 offensive picks are going to prove to be very, very big for this team.
Absolutely. Along those lines, we have a text message. Does the Higgins injury open a slight door for Brevin Jordan, or is he toast? Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. 2 things on that for me, and I definitely want to get your take on it. One, Brevin Jordan himself has to get back on the field. Yeah. Brevin Jordan's hurt right now. Like, no door opens for Brevin Jordan if he's not available. They could lose a couple tight ends, and it's tough for Brevin Jordan to make the team right now because he's not on the field. So there's that. So I don't think it opens the door for Brevin Jordan, but in light of what we just talked about, Marlon Klein getting a few catches, Foster Moreau getting involved in the offense today, and we know what Dalton Schultz is. Dalton Schultz broke all the records for tight ends offensively for this franchise last year. Is that going to be part, do you think, maybe? I mean, obviously, none of those guys are Jaden Higgins, but nobody they have on the roster other than Nico Collins is Jaden Higgins. So if they're going to do it in-house, they're obviously going to have to do it differently. They're not just going to plug somebody in and say, you're Jaden Higgins. Yeah. They can't do that. There's only one of him. But does the fact that it appears as though they have much more firepower in the tight end room, certainly than they did last year, where they're trotting Harrison Bryant out there as the number 2 tight end. Can that be a way that they cobble together some of that abyss that Jaden Higgins leaves behind?
Absolutely, no question about it. I mean, now you're in a predicament of like, how do you, because you look at it, they want to run the football first and foremost. There's a 4-man surface of that, the Ingram, Trent Brown, Foster Moreau, and Marlon Klein. Boy, that could be awfully appealing for a team that wants to run the football. But then that's going to mean you're taking Dalton Schultz off the field, who is your most reliable, quarterback-friendly, smartest, sharpest tight end in the bunch. So, how do you like that? That's a good problem to have. So, yeah, I would expect to see more 12 personnel, which is 1 back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, than maybe with the other guys healthy, could have saw some more 11 personnel. So yeah, they've got options. They've got options, and I don't think it's going to derail them much. But the Brevin Jordan piece is, look, I mean, he's got to get back out. I think Brevin Jordan piece is, Cade Stover's taking a bunch of your snaps. Now I don't know that Cade Stover's really opening eyes or turning anybody on right now. But Cade Stover's taking your reps. I mean, obviously Marlon Klein is taking your shine. Like that, you're supposed to be the guy that everybody's talking about. Boy, look at the athletic ability in the tight end room. Marlon Klein's getting that.
The bigger threat to Brevin Jordan not making the team right now, to me, is not Cade Stover, who on the depth chart, those were the 2 that were battling it out coming into camp. It's the fact that I think it's even surprised D'Amico Ryans, just based on some of the answers and the tone that he's had when he's been asked about Marlon Klein and how over the top he is about his receiving skills. I mean, I think they knew he could catch the football, and obviously got a big frame, and he's a good athlete and all of those things. That's the bigger threat to me to Brevin Jordan, is like, oh, wow, Brevin was going to make the team because of his ability to make plays with the ball in his hands. If all of a sudden you're looking at Marlon Klein like, wow, we got a guy who make plays with the ball in his hands. Oh, and he's 6'6", and he blocks people too. That's the bigger threat to Brevin. Well, the biggest threat to Brevin Jordan is his own health right now. Yeah. That's the biggest threat. All right, 713-572-4610. If you want to text us, all of a sudden we have 1 segment left. This thing flew by tonight. We need to do a scoreboard check. That's brought to you by Houston Methodist leading medicine. And as we check the promo stuff, I think we've got at least one thing. We got at least one giveaway that for you folks, if I'm not mistaken, to get you fed. So we will. I'll double check that, but we'll do that. Final segment of Texans postgame. Texans lose tonight, 22-20 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Final segment coming up. Stay there. You're listening to Texans Radio.
More Texans postgame coming up.
Raise your hand if you don't like saving money. Anyone? That's what I thought. It's probably why the Flex Your Credits electricity plan from Reliant is so darn popular. It gives you your 2 highest use days free every week automatically. And $200 in bill credits. Don't savings sound good? Get Flex Your Credits by calling 1-866-RELIANT or visit Reliant.com. Reliant. That's power. Your way.
Terms and conditions apply. Reliant. PUCT number 10007.
Experience business banking that empowers you at every milestone. At Amity Bank, our business checking accounts are built to help you turn big goals into sustainable success. As your business evolves, your banking can too. With a local team who knows your business, understands your market, and cares about your goals. Visit us in a local branch or at amitybank.com/grow to open an account today. Amity Bank is a division of Zions Bank Corporation, N.A., member FDIC.
A cool and crisp Modelo tastes good. But you know what tastes even better? That survived the evening rush Modelo. That post-12-hour shift Modelo. That fought for every rebound Modelo. That just clocked out on a Friday Modelo. That Modelo you earned is just better. That Modelo is the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
It's bigger. It's better. It's Kashada Casino Resort like you've never seen it before. Introducing the all-new Legacy Tower with 204 beautiful rooms, 100 suites, and a stunning new lobby entrance. Just steps from the largest gaming floor in the Lake Charles area with new gaming, better slots, top-rated golf, and the Dream Pool and Lazy River. It's all at Kashada, Louisiana's best bet.
A breast cancer diagnosis can turn your world upside down. But your Houston Methodist team assures you they'll use the latest cancer research and technologies, collaborating to treat and remove the tumor and reconstruct your breasts, restoring symmetry, sensation, and your sense of self. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it for you. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
When it comes to unique experiences, pick TickPick. You're picking the official fan experience partner of the Houston Texans with no hidden fees ever. So pick TickPick for your chance to enjoy an all-exclusive experience at Reliant Stadium at every game. A chance to experience the national anthem on the field or exclusive suite access during the game with an opportunity for post-game field access. Don't let fees get between you and a great game day. Download the TickPick app and enjoy the best experiences supporting your Houston Texans this year.
At H-E-B, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of H-E-B jalapeno poppers hot off the grill. Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an H-E-B Prime 1 burger that you grilled to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit H-E-B, your official game day headquarters, or use the My H-E-B app to start prepping for game day right away.
All day tomorrow, we'll break down the action from tonight's tune-up against the Raiders. What did we learn from our second look at D'Amico's squad against a real opponent? We got your reactions, opinions, and inside information all day, starting with Payne and Pendergast, right here tomorrow at 6 a.m. Insider access, exclusive content, crystal clear FM quality. Your home of the Texans is 95.7 The Fan.
It's Texans postgame. Now, back to the show.
Mendoza play fake, and he throws one over the middle. It's picked off. Here we go. Across the 40, the 50, it's Woodaz. The 40 of the Raiders, the 30. Mendoza trying to chase him down at the 15, 10, 5. Rock and roll. Does he get in? Yes! Touchdown!
I don't mind listening to that again. Wade Woodaz. Boy, how badly would they have been clowning Wade Woodaz if Fernando Mendoza, dork that he is, was the one that chased him down and knocked him out of bounds.
Ooh, hey, look, I've been sucked up on the 1 yard line before a couple times in football. In football, by the way. It's tough to live down. It's a tough one to live down.
Yeah. Fernando Mendoza got him.
Yeah, that would have been rough. That would have been a tough. That'd have been a tough.
I might
one
have cut him if that happened. To be honest, I know he's in the running to maybe start for them if they go to a base 4-3 in the first play of the game.
Hey, that highlight would have died on a vine real quick, no doubt. So I'm glad. I'm glad he got in. I'm glad he shook him a bit and got in.
I am too. Wade Woodaz gets in on the pick six. Just yet another one of the rookies contributing tonight. It was a big night for the rookies, man. Wade Woodaz, pick six. Marlon Klein, a few catches. Caden McDonald, a sack. Keelan Rutledge, part of the anchor in the middle in that offensive line. Really, really nice to see. Texans do lose tonight, 22-20. The third string offense and defense couldn't hold their water in the fourth quarter of this game, unfortunately. The Raiders score a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter, including one from Daria Gumbawale from 19 yards out, made the score 20-16. And then the Texans in the final 2 minutes of the game couldn't convert a second or third and short at midfield. They had to punt the ball back to Las Vegas. Las Vegas takes over with a minute and change to go at their own 4-yard line, and they drive the length of the field and made it look pretty easy, if we're being honest. Like, there was nothing fluky about it or anything. There was no 40-yard pass interference penalty. There's nothing controversial about the drive. They just took 8 plays and methodically drove down the field and punched it in on an Aiden O'Connell QB sneak, kind of quasi QB sneak, tush push. A couple guys kind of pushing him into the end zone. But they scored with about 10 seconds to go in regulation, and Brett Rippon threw an interception on the only play they ran from scrimmage, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell's got starts and wins in this league. Him playing in the fourth quarter of this game seems a tad bit unfair.
Yeah.
But either way it goes, I know D'Amico's not going to be happy with that last unit.
He's their third string guy. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you got to let it go.
Yeah, man, yeah. We're getting some texts here. On a first down, Wee-Woo, instead of just standing there like Laramie Tunsil would have, he didn't have anyone to block, so he went and put one in the defensive end in the ribs. Yeah, just planted one in his ribs.
Well, look,
beautiful. The texter says.
Yeah, absolutely, it is, man.
But that's what they're looking for.
No question. It's been tough to watch the last handful of years, and when you get a guy like Keelan Rutledge in here, the head coach, general manager, very vocal about, hey, this is the kind of nastiness we want. You'd be crazy if you're an offensive lineman and not pull that nasty side out as often as you possibly can. So, yeah, good to see that guys aren't standing around blocking air. Instead, they're going and hunting somebody to hit, even if it is the rib cage of a guy that's already engaged. I love it.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's do a check of the out-of-town scoreboard. The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Houston Methodist. Houston Methodist leading medicine. Only one other game tonight, and it was a blowout. The San Francisco 49ers hung 41 on the Los Angeles Chargers. The very Chargers team that beat the Texans last week. They got beat up by the Niners tonight. Both teams playing their starters, but a lot like the Texans played their starters tonight. Brock Purdy, 4 of 6 for 29 yards, almost identical stats to C.J. Stroud. C.J. 4 of 6 for 27 yards. And Justin Herbert got in there, threw a couple of passes, completed one for 9 yards. I guess the big story in this game from a productivity standpoint, Mac Jones threw for 89 yards, got in there. Really just a bunch of third stringers in there for the San Francisco 49ers and the Chargers tonight. So Niners beat up on the Chargers 41-17. As far as checking the scoreboard, that's the only other game tonight. The only other game aside from the Texans beating or losing to the Raiders 22-20. In looking at some of the other games that are on the schedule over the next few days, Steelers play the Jets tomorrow night. This will be the second straight preseason game in which Aaron Rodgers goes against a former team of his. The preseason, for whatever reason, for the Steelers is the Aaron Rodgers Revenge Tour. So he's going to play the Packers in his first game. He's going to play the Jets in this game, and he's going to play Fauci in the third game. That's all of his enemies.
Yes.
Fauci and his family. Oh, no, he made up with his family, didn't he?
Yeah, he's made up with his family.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's not going to play them. They canceled the third game.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know who they play, but the Steelers play the Jets tomorrow night. Jags play the Panthers tomorrow night. I'm assuming that we'll see a little Trevor Lawrence and Bryce Young in that one. Broncos, Packers. The games I'll have my eye on this weekend, Bills, Browns, Saturday. Shedeur Sanders gets the chance to start on Saturday. It was Deshaun Watson last week. Shedeur is starting, but they're not playing many of their other starters. That's the big uproar in Cleveland, because Cleveland, not sure if you've heard, they're not big fans of Deshaun Watson up
Correct,
there.
right.
So there's a lot of people in Shedeur's corner hoping he wins the job. I think there's a lot of people that hope he wins the job just because there's some intrigue there. I don't think they think he's the future necessarily, but they think it's unfair that he's going to be starting the game but playing with a bunch of second stringers.
Yeah, I would agree that is another layer of the dysfunction that is the Cleveland Browns. No matter who's coaching there, it seems like there's always some interesting decisions that are made, and most of them, unfortunately, are in and around the quarterback, and that's tough to overcome. So I hate that for Shedeur, but as he takes a lot of flack, but he handled the dropping in the draft thing. He's handled this competition. I'm sure he'll handle this well. Also, as for a guy that caught a lot of flack about being immature and maybe not handling the interview process maturely, he sure has handled all of this maturely. So
I
sure
agree with you. I thought he did terrible during the draft process. He's been the total opposite there. I think he's, by and large, like there were little things, like when he did that one interview last year where he mimed his answers.
Sure,
that was stupid. That was just dumb. But in terms of handling the real stuff that comes with being the quarterback or being under pressure or being under the scrutiny and the microscope of the fan base, I think he's handled that stuff pretty well.
Yeah, it's like he just doesn't, the whole stuff when I guess it was a week or so ago, the video popped of Dion out there on the field with him, and everybody, I knew it was going to happen, just a matter of time. And he doesn't. You would think an immature attention hound would get involved and comment on those kind of things, but he steered pretty clear. It obviously was not a great situation with him and the other kid getting drafted. I mean, that never became a problem.
No.
This Deshaun Watson situation, obviously, with how he's been handled, he was told he was going to be the go with the ones in a scrimmage, and he went the walkthrough, and then Deshaun got the 1 reps in the scrimmage. Supposedly, didn't make a big stink about it. He's a lot more mature than I think we give him credit for, because he does have the YouTube channels and the bling on his wrist, and he is an outspoken guy. So I tip the cap. He's handled it well.
Yep. So we'll see. He does get the start this weekend, and the expectation is they're going to make a decision in Cleveland after that. All signs point to Deshaun Watson being the starting quarterback for that team. And the guys up on 92.3 The Fan, the morning show on that station, that's our sister station up in Cleveland, had Mary Kay Cabot on, who's the beat writer for Cleveland.com. They asked her if Deshaun wins the starting job, do you think he's going to get voted captain? And she said, yeah, I think he might. His teammates seem to like him. Quarterbacks usually get voted captain. Can you imagine Deshaun Watson being the captain of the Cleveland Browns?
It's wild, man. It's wild, and I hate to say that I'm even pulling for a guy that allegedly did what he did, because that's typically a deal killer for me. But just you can't imagine, although he brought it on himself, what he's gone through the last handful of years and how it's changed his life, his world. For him to have stuck in there and really allowed the Cleveland Browns locker room to completely turn over, to where a lot of those guys probably, they're all aware you got into some trouble, but how many of them were really hung up on every detail and know the numbers and know all the detail? Probably not many, and so he's able to be a little bit more of himself, I would imagine, at this point. And if that's the case, and he can shake any of the rust at all, I just don't know how there's not a pretty large gap between him and Shedeur Sanders in terms of product.
Okay, if Deshaun Watson's the starting quarterback in Week 1 for the Cleveland Browns, the Texans play the Browns in Week 10 this year. Is Deshaun Watson the starting quarterback for the Browns in Week 10 against the Houston Texans?
We talked about this, not specifically 10, but his ability. I do. I think he stays healthy. I think he plays well. And I don't think he's a Pro Bowl or anything, but I think he plays well, and I think he's their quarterback.
He plays well. They might win some games.
Yeah,
they got a good defense.
Well, there's a lot. Look, the division is there's no real like front runner in that division.
No.
That's just like, boy, this is they're going to run away with it. Now, there's always the possibility that by Week 10, the Cleveland Browns will be so far in the cellar that they decide, hey, let's just go see what the young guys got, and he gets
yeah, that's
reasons.
the thing. Yeah, they're 3-7 or 3-6 going into that game. Then maybe Shador's the starter by then, just to see what they've got in him. All right, we got about a minute or so to go. Clint, thoughts on tonight? Big takeaways from tonight's game against the Raiders.
Yeah, look, I think really, really good night. The offensive line is not the 5 that we thought it was going to be, but they have landed on 5, and I think it's a big upgrade from last year. Woody Marks was a big time bright spot. Obviously, CJ getting that little bit of run was really, really good. On top of, I think, the joint practice where he was really good. Marlon Klein shining again tonight. I think today was a positive day. The 3-day span with the joint practice and today was a really positive step in the right direction for the Texans.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. The guys that were out there that matter to the 53. There was really nothing but positive stuff that happened out there tonight, I would say. All right, enjoyed it as always, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff. We'll hear you talk about it at 2 o'clock tomorrow on The Drive. Hear me talk about it in about 5 hours from now on Payne and Pendergast. Byron Matthews out here helping us engineer on site. Ben Gary back in the studio. Appreciate all of you tuning in. The final score, Raiders 22, Texans 20. Third preseason game coming up next Friday. We'll see you then. Have a great week. Go Texans.
This is Texans Radio on 95.7 The Fan.
To all the physicians, researchers, and nurses who've made all the difference, the families you've helped would like to say